So I have been involved with the chamber since starting it back at AT&T about 14 years ago. And the primary focuses that I've been involved in have been economic development. I've had the benefit of sitting on the Economic Development Board for over 10 years, as well as public policy. I've been on the Public Policy Council for many years. I chaired the Public Policy Council for several years and remain a member. I see the chamber as being the voice of the business community when the businesses can't necessarily be that voice of their own. So when you think about policy and regulatory issues that affect business, what better organization to go to than the local chamber to talk to them about an issue that is impacting your business and ask them to be a cumulative voice of all businesses in the community and take those messages to elected officials to impact change. I've become very familiar with chamber organizations all across the state.
Sure.
One thing I will say is Green Bay really has done a fantastic job staying in connection with their members over the last horrible year that we've all experienced. So if anything, maybe that's one of the things that has been somewhat of a surprise, is how well the communication has been. Some of the growth that I've seen the chamber experience themselves with hiring some new staff that I think are going to be really critical people to be part of that new team. I think the Greater Green Bay Chamber is kind of the gold standard for economic development plans in the region. I think you guys have done a really spectacular job of creating a plan, creating collaborative partnerships with other community organizations that are really vital in order to proceed forward with a real plan. I think the integration of community volunteers and the business community and the nonprofit space, bringing all of those players in to make sure that there's a lot of community buy-in to the economic development plan that has been created, has really kind of set the Greater Green Bay area. So the economic development plan that has been created for this region is really important for the business community and just the community as a whole. I think the value of engagement with any chamber organization is being able to connect with other members. And whether that's, me coming from a public policy perspective, or perhaps one of my technicians who's out installing AT&T services every day and then just wants to have kind of an outlet to meet new people, or perhaps we have someone who works in one of our call centers who's thinking about starting a business, I point them to the chamber as a resource, because typically you guys will have some sort of programming, some sort of event, some sort of connection to another resource within the community that those types of people with those types of things going on in their lives can benefit from. So it's not necessarily just going to certain events or being involved in certain programs, but I see a chamber organization as a connector and a collaborator, and our employees can definitely take advantage of that. I love this question because I'm very passionate about it, and I want chamber organizations to continue their strength in public policy. The voice of the chamber organizations resonates with lawmakers, both at a local level, a state level, and a national level. AT&T has teams of individuals at a local level, at a state level, and at a national level that work on policy and regulatory issues. But your small business owners, your restaurateurs, your small boutique shop owners, your manufacturing companies, many of them don't have the time or the expertise to even know what's happening at a county level, at a city level, at a state level, at a federal level that could really have an impact on their business, good or bad. So in order for those organizations to be able to continue running their business, I think it's critical that an organization like the Chamber continues a public policy council. So those issues are brought to the table, those issues are brought to different industry sectors, and then those issues are then brought to elected officials. So, again, the chamber is the collective voice of its members. And I think that's a really important role that the chamber plays in any community. And even companies like ours that have staff that are dedicated to following policy, following regulations, and having conversations with elected officials to impact change, we still need that local voice. We still need the local voice of the chamber to help us bring that message across the table. But we also need the voice of the local chamber to help other members maybe see what's happening and understand why a big company like AT&T is coming to Green Bay and saying, this is a policy change that we need. The chamber has collaborated not only with its member businesses, but with the city, with the county, with surrounding municipalities, with the nonprofit space, with the schools. So, what I think a lot of people don't realize is how many different entities the chamber actually touches and has a relationship with. So there would be a huge void in our community if the chamber was not here, and I'm grateful every day that you guys are.